Over the past 2 or 3 decades, the Israeli National Roads Authority has built an impressive network of highways throughout the country. One project that is currently underway is an urban artery with tunnels and bridges that will take people straight into the center of Jerusalem from the point where the Tel Aviv highway reaches the edge of the city. The trouble is that the construction involves disturbing some Roman graves from 1900 years ago, which has sparked protests. But people want to get to Jerusalem fast, and they feel the need for a highway that overcomes the snarling traffic of street surface roads. In the summer of 587 BC, God essentially left Jerusalem. His patience with the people's unfaithfulness had run out. His glory left, as Ezekiel puts it, and when God walked out, Nebuchadnezzar was free to walk in. Nebuchadnezzar set about devastating the city so thoroughly that he rendered it more or less uninhabitable. Well, nothing happened for half a century. Then in Isaiah 40, God says, "Speak tenderly to Jerusalem. Tell her that her sad days are gone and her sins are pardoned. Clear the way through the wilderness for the Lord. Make a straight highway for our God." And God did return. Some of those in exile came too, and they did their best to make the city habitable again. The book of Ezra relates how they rebuilt the temple, and God returned to live there and meet with them there once again. On the whole, things were better between God and his people for the next 500 years, though for most of that time they remained under the authority of a series of imperial powers. They still longed for their independence. In AD 30, along came John the Baptizer, once again announcing the coming of God. "Someone is coming soon," he said, "who is greater than I am, so much greater that I'm not worthy even to be his slave and carry his sandals." And Jesus did come, as he traveled from Galilee to the Jordan River to be baptized by John. 3 years later, on the Sunday prior to his crucifixion, once again Jesus returned to Jerusalem with great fanfare and celebration to fulfill the prophecy that said, "Tell the people of Jerusalem, look, your king is coming to you." 50 days later, Jesus ascended back to heaven. As his disciples strained to see him rising into heaven, 2 angels suddenly stood among them and said, "Men of Galilee, why are you standing here staring into heaven? Jesus has been taken from you into heaven, but someday he will return from heaven in the same way you saw him go." God has come, and God will come again. In effect, each Advent, God is saying again to us, as he says in Isaiah 40, "Clear the way, for our God is coming." Additionally, Advent reminds us that at the culmination of history, we will once again see God coming to gather his true followers, to meet him in the air, and to live with him forever. The grass withers and the flowers fade, but the word of our God stands forever. For additional considerations on these thoughts, please go to fcctitusville.com/Advent. Happy Thursday, and we'll meet again tomorrow morning.